Rolf Harris.
Well, I'll be pushing along, Ben Hartigan says. Tightens the girth and pulls himself onto his mule.
What, not wait for a beer?
No fear, says Hartigan, and looks at the sun. Think I come down in the last shower? Me plant's been waiting all day. She'll be dark be about an hour. And he pulls down the brim of his hat and rides on his way.
What age do you reckon he'd be, old Hartigan?
Oh, Lord knows. 80, or some say over.
He's just about had it, I'd say. Doesn't look so clever.
Why don't they pension him off?
He's too old for a drover.
But who are they to pension Ben Hartigan, who was never beholden to any of them? Not ever. A parchment over his bones is Hartigan's skin, his lips tight stretched to a grin that owes little to mirth. Remember that face, for he's nearly the last of his race, Ben Hartigan, and his kind was the salt of the earth. He's touchy about his sight, old Hartigan. Dark specks, fixed on with thread, cover potch opal eyes, the rims blood red from what he calls a touch of sandy blight, and blames the flies. But I'll follow a track like a black, he says, in a fair light. He likes a yarn when the grog's flowing, old Hartigan. If you get him going, he'll talk about Green-Hide Sam and the yellow fella of Bullocky Kinnivan who packed the mail, and Nat Buchanan and his green umbrella, and old Tom Stone the Crow's Kale. Says Hartigan. Them was the days. Fellas were tough then and tireless, no affectations. You lived or died, see? No halfways or complications. There wasn't the set-up then for saving lives, no flying doctor or pedal wireless, or pestering wives. White women, says Hartigan. Amenities and the rest of it, they'd drive you crazy. I reckon it was us blokes had the best of it, like me with young Daisy. 30 years back she was, but I don't forget her. Faithful? She'd have been with me yet if only they'd let her. I had a fall once out mustering round Mount Hurst. Busted me collarbone and broke a shin. After 3 days, what with the flamin' thirst, the ants attacking and the crows black around me, I just about gives in. I know darn well the only hope I got in hell was that young gin. She told me after it was the birds brought her. But she'd have battled on till she died or found me, and perished before she'd touched that water. But then the law steps in and has to save her, says Hartigan. Though she never gone much on hymns or the togs they gave her, some white woman's cast-off dress for her dungarees, shut up inside a fence, boiled hash and stew and praying on her knees. It never made much sense when all she asked was her man and a horse and the life she knew. I told them pretty straight, says Hartigan. Without you let her be, she'll have the kid and die. I know her, see? I said. But they got hearts like stone. I has to get them cattle in alone, and when I makes it back after, it's too late. She's dead. That nice little run I used to count on owning was swallowed up long ago in the next estate. It was always a big man's country, no use moaning, says Hartigan, against your cut with fate. It's something to be still around, a drover. These times when speed's the general way of things and trucks and airy planes has taken over and beef on the hoof is beef on wheels or wings. Joyriding. That's all they're fit for this generation. Take young Hartigan now, trucking cattle Fitzroy into Broome, 1 day against 10 in the saddle, or damn near, and they give him a fair deal there. I wouldn't see his month's check inside a year. Catch him knuckling down on a station when he can sit up behind the wheel there, blasting his old man off the road to make room. But mind you, he's nobody's fool, young Ben there, says Hartigan. There's no white going to make a butt of him, no fear. He got learned in a school, holds his own all right with the men there. You can tell that by the cut of him. Well, I got to compete with them motors now, and that's that, says Hartigan, and pulls down his hat. Can't be hanging round them bars now with me plant waiting someplace out on the flat. He fixes a stirrup and grins as he tightens the girth. Remember that face, for he's nearly the last of his race, Ben Hartigan. And his kind was the salt of the earth.
That was Ben Hartigan by Mary Durack Miller.